Hello and welcome back, everyone, to Bloodstained Ritual of the Night Hard Mode Fresh Playthrough on Rocket Rabbit Commentaries. And in this episode, we're finally taking on Dominique Beal. Yeah. Alright, so, for Dominique Beal, the big thing that you have to remember is that, since we are in hard mode, Beal does, a surprising amount of damage. But the actual big thing that you need to remember for this fight is that in order to deal damage to the actual target, Dominique, you need to be fighting the Beal head. You need to be dealing damage specifically to the Beal head that Dominique is on. You're going to be noticing that because I spent a bit of time getting my MP5 up, I'm going to actually be using my somewhat power level throwing axe spell here in order to get several hundred points of damage on her while she's flying around the ring. I find it honestly really important to do this because, ouch, whenever Beal hits me, I take upwards of 150 points of damage, especially from contact. But if you guys recall, we still have access to Inferno Breath! 70 damage a tick, and ticks like 3 times a second. The only problem that I have is that I don't actually have enough MP/MP generation to just sit on her for this one cycle. But I don't need to sit on her for much more because I'm also doing 130 points of damage every time I hit her with my Durandal. I believe that the primary Dominique head only actually has approximately 4,000 HP. So it's honestly this is honestly one of the lower HP totals for Igavania final bosses if you just are focusing on what you're supposed to be hitting. Mind you, you're gonna end up spreading damage around specifically because doing double jump drop kicks is a pretty easy way to avoid some of the more persistent attacks that Dominique throws at you, specifically the chain lightning. I really dislike chain lightning because it stays on the field for so goddamn long. But it is honestly one of the only actual real threats here. Her Tiz Wraith is her Tiz Wraith specifically isn't actually all that threatening, but it's important that you know that it's there. But there we go. Dominique Beal is down.
Upside down, literally.
Yes.
No, I mean she's up because she's down.
Yeah.
And we inverted it. Now she's up.
So there is a particular way to cheese out the entire fight using invert. I don't know what it is. I just know it exists.
Well, Lord knows that lava is designed to kill the player so that they have to retry the boss fight because that attack comes out of nowhere.
It does not come out of nowhere, actually. The pattern that it's supposed to be is, I think it's Demon's Head, then Cat's Head, then Lizard Head, but I actually got Lizard Head, then Cat Head. And Demon's Head, and the attacks that the heads actually throw at you, specifically while Dominique is stationary, depends on which heads are which head is the currently active one. As Johannes is explaining what the Enochian script stuff that's going on.
We need to begin. Stand back, Miriam.
We're gonna nuke the castle from inside hell because we can do that now. Thank you, Alfred.
Da, 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 do, 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 do.
This is not Tears of the Kingdom, okay? And for the record, we don't even nuke the castle in Tears of the Kingdom.
La, 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 la.
This is more akin to Beauty and the Beast or other Castlevania titles. Yeah, vacuum noises.
And so we have removed the curse from Death Mountain.
Well,
and Kakariko Village is saved.
Yeah, we have saved Kakariko Village and Hyrule Town.
Yes, you've made the world right again.
Not without sacrifice. Jabal, Alfred, Zangestu.
The spoilers here, of course, is that Zangestu is actually fine. I didn't clear enough of the map in order to actually get the bonus ending. But if you get 100% of the map, and then you defeat Dominique Bale. Zangestu actually shows up during this cutscene after Miriam and Johannes leave in order to pick up the Zangetsudo. Because yeah, he survived going through hell because that's where Gremory sent him without his blade and came out in about 2 hours' time.
Stalling your corruption and suggested some improvements. I think I might be able to stop the crystal from overtaking you permanently.
Everything is resolved. Woohoo!
I can't make any promises, but yes.
We're still really hoping for more info on Ritual of the Night 2. We know that it's in development, but that is literally all that we know. And even then, the knowledge that it's in development is unofficial.
We may have stopped the crystal from taking over Miriam's body, but we still have to stave off the crystal, defeating her urge to kick ass.
Now, she's always going to kick ass because she is, again, like the second best spellcaster in the entire series. Only Aurora is honestly more powerful as a spellcaster, and she's not actually an Igavania main character anyway. So, I need to apologize here because the rest of this part is credits. The reason why the rest of this part is credits is because if you recall, Bloodstained Ritual of the Night was a Kickstarter project several years ago. And as with every Kickstarter project that actually came out from several years ago, its credits are stupidly fucking long. Hey, Vipar.
Yeah.
I don't mind that the credits are actually stupidly fucking long, but for commentary purposes, it gets somewhat annoying. It does give us a chance to actually discuss what our thoughts are, because this is the final run that I'm doing for the channel. I decided not to do a Zangetsu run, specifically because I don't like how the Zangetsu run ends. I think the bonus boss that Zangetsu gets is really cool. It's way too fucking hard, and Zangetsu's power scaling falls off a fucking cliff for the last two bosses. It's not nice of them. I really enjoy Bloodstained Ritual of the Night. I do. I think it is the second best Igavania game that we have ever gotten, and it's just behind Aria of Sorrow. And the big reason why is because it comes with an official randomizer. The level progression for most of the campaigns, specifically the Bloodless and Miriam campaigns, feels really good. We get some really powerful additional gameplay modes in Bloodless and Aurora, and for the most part, Zangetsu. And I personally find that, I still, once a month, I'll go through a randomizer for this game, just because, I have some downtime, I want to do it, and I'll just go and do a Defeat All Evil Seed, which, just is hunting down Dimension Shift in the Zangetsudo. I enjoy playing this game a fuck ton. I really do. I actually enjoy playing this more than I enjoy playing Aria of Sorrow, fucking somehow. But I hold that Aria of Sorrow is a better video game, mostly because the castle design and the good ending aren't anywhere near as cryptic as they are in Ritual of the Night. And what do you say, Mr. the Cloud Person?
It is amazing how far I've come in being exposed to this game. At this point, I probably could pick this game up pretty easily and play through the whole thing, knowing generally how it goes. Only that the little details along the way, I may have to look more closely at Rocket Rabbit Commentaries' playthrough of Bloodstained to know what is the most consistent way of taking out bosses. What do the things do? What are the good items and which are the items I can ignore? These things you normally have to play through as Miriam all the way through, and then you get another chance of a playthrough to learn through the other characters even what are some good strategies for taking out bosses and what's a good pathway using your save point.
Kinda, sorta. Unlike Resident Evil, all the characters effectively fight bosses slightly differently, and because they all get different tools, their differences are pretty well pronounced. There are other gameplay modes that I'm not showing off. I'm not going to show off Boss Rush because I'm too terrible at the game to actually, finish Boss Rush without healing items. And I'm also not going to show off Boss Revenge mode, mostly because I can only clear Boss Revenge with one character, Andy. I really like Andrelphis in Boss Revenge, for the record, but If it's the only one that I can clear, then I really shouldn't be showing it off because he is the easiest of the ones to clear with. Boss Revenge also gives you access to play as Bathen and Gremory. I would say that Bathen and Gremory are fun to play with, but they're fun to play around with. They're not actually fun to go through Boss Revenge with because Gremory is goddamn giant and eats up a shit ton of MP doing pretty much everything. And Bathen, although can cheese out invincibility with his laser dash, hello Velik, can't actually do all that much damage. Plus they have to do the bonus Zangetsu fight at the end, and I don't want to do that. Nope.
Well, Zangetsu is the boss of bosses.
No. Zangetsu 2 is not the boss of bosses. It's like, for Miriam specifically, Zang 2 is honestly the second hardest fight in the game, especially on hard mode. But in hard mode, he becomes actually the hardest fight in the game because he gets an instant kill attack that we didn't actually show. I think we showed it off. It's been like a month and a half since we actually showed off that particular part where I managed to dodge it with a directed shield. But yeah, for hard mode, Zang 2 gets a black hole instant death attack, and with that, he becomes the actual hardest fight in the game again. I argue that Dominique is actually the hardest fight. On normal mode because she attacks really quick. She covers a large portion of the screen. There's like Miriam's only answer to the spread fire of the what the fuck is that one called? The fire version of Tabib. Her only real answer to that is either shift or directional or directed shield, and it feels pretty bad when you have to use those as defensive options. Well, not directed shield. Directed shield as a defensive option is honestly really fun to play around with. So those of you that are still here might be wondering, well, if this is credits, then what else do we have to go through? Because this part is still going. Yes, this part is still going, but we're not done yet. Cloud asked me specifically to go and fight the super boss, and not the DLC super boss because I don't actually have the DLC for the game. I enjoyed the game a lot, but the DLC was specifically a super boss and a weapon that I've been told is okay, but requires a great deal amount of mechanical skill in order to actually use appropriately, and I do not have that. Bloodless with the red umbrella. Yeah, that requires New Game Plus, bastards.
I'm singing in the rain, just singing in the rain.
What a wonderful feeling, I'm singing again.
My dress has got red dye, there's blood dripping from the sky. I am fabulous.
Fuck you too, Alfred.
Fucking Alfred.
And this one is, yes, the OD library. We'll be seeing you shortly, OD.
It is wonderful what they have, and here come the backers. It really is wonderful what they have achieved by encouraging players to go through the game, whether in New Game Plus or starting a new profile as a different character. We got one big happy family bringing us all together. They're all happy to see each other, except for sometimes. They talk together a lot, they interact, and then, you know, when you finish the boss fight, take out Bloodless, take out Zangetsu, say, alright, we'll see you on the next playthrough. Have a good one.
Yeah. The other gameplay mode that I'm not going to show off specifically because I am totally ass at it is Classic Mode. Classic Mode is a reinterpretation of Castlevania 1, but with Castlevania 3 style. Actually, it's more along the lines of Super Castlevania controls, using Miriam as the base set. It is not bad. I need to stress that, but I am so terribly ass at it that I'm not playing it. No, I do not want to embarrass myself by trying and failing to play through that. If you want the Classicvania experience, go play Curse of the Moon 1 and 2. Specifically 1. Curse of the Moon 1 is a great Classicvania experience, whereas Curse of the Moon 2 is a good Classicvania experience, but it's a bit bloated. Also, bonus messages from the developers. To do that, I must be a vampire.
That does bring me to my point, is the game feel of this game is pretty special. It's dear, it's charming, makes you feel welcome and cozy, despite maybe getting into frustrating moments where you're retrying bosses or what have you and trying different strategies.
Fuck Inferno Cavern. Hate that place.
So, especially giving credit to the wonderful voice acting we have, and also the numerous dialogue sequences where just one character is speaking to another on each occupying opposite sides of the screen. These will keep you ensconced in the core narrative that Miriam is up against a challenge, but because she is gifted and because the player is determined, and with the help of her friends, she will overcome any obstacle, even if it means failing a couple times first.
Yeah, Johannes is great about that.
Johannes he is cool, man. He's cool beans. He rocks. Like to have a beer with him.
May we dance in these ephemeral dreams of nocturnal mischief for time indefinite.
The guy, and also the gothic nature and feel and aesthetic of the game really makes this quite a special one. You gotta put a space between Project Period and Hope, mister.
No, you don't.
Rush job. Like, what? Did you scream cap this off of Reddit?
So many backers. Greetings to my two amazing nieces, Skyla and Leia.
Who are you?
A person, Mr. Cloud. A person.
Yeah, I'm sure there are many people who could say their nieces are named Skylia and Leah. Dedicated to my daughter. Again. There are a lot of Yuris in the world, buddy. I want to give credit to the correct father or mother of Yuri.
If I were to ever work on a video game as much as these people did, I would probably put in a message for my brother, but then again, I probably also wouldn't credit myself for it because it would be very cringe to do so.
I would probably do the Shawshank Redemption thing and just say Cloud was here.
But which Cloud was this? Cirrus Cloud? Was it a Stratus Cloud?
You raise a good point.
Don't worry, guys. We're almost all the way through the backers, I think.
It really is amazing how far we've come from the days of classic credits where video games only had maybe like fewer than a dozen developers, game artists, technicians putting a game together, and they all had these pseudonyms that they were well known in the industry. No one has as many friends as the man with many cheeses, the cheese vendor. See, that person identified himself. He's known as the cheese vendor. So let there be no confusion whatsoever. By any other name, we know him at least as cheese vendor.
Unfortunately, the cheese vendor is specifically not a character in this game unless it's Benjamin. But even then, I kind of doubt it's Benjamin.
That's not really much of a cheese shop now, is it? Well, what makes you say that, sir?
Well, it's
the
missing a
finest
lot
in the
of
district,
regional
sir.
cheeses that it should have.
Certainly uncontaminated by cheese.
If you were to run a cheese shop, Mr. Cloud, which cheeses would you specialize in?
The more niche ones like blue cheese, gorgonzola, Danish blue, and feta. I think feta would also be a pretty good cheese to specialize in. It's safe. It's one of the most popular cheeses in the world, and people generally like it.
No, what about brie?
I don't even know what brie looks like.
It's blue-ish. I would think it's Brie is more or less a cross between a blue cheese and I think mozzarella.
But would you buy cheese from a person who doesn't actually eat cheese?
I would, because I enjoy cheese. Oh look, Epic Games Incorporated.
Well, I may not know what it's like myself, but my customers sure do.
Thank you for playing. Period. You think an exclamation point really would be more appropriate to drive home the
All right, everyone,
enthusiasm?
be safe.